Hello everybody and welcome back to City Skylines, where, if I recall correctly, we were working on something. And I've completely forgotten what. Oh, I remember. It was this situation. Right. Yeah, that's a rough one. That is definitely a rough situation. However, we can do something kind of about it. And what do we want to do about it? Well, it's not the best of ideas, but it's an idea. So here's the idea. You can go this way or you can go this way, like so. You cannot go this way. So this would expand out into the 3 lanes here. And then up over here, we'll completely get rid of that. And you're allowed to turn here. You're allowed to go straight. But you're not allowed to enter here. I know it's weird. You are allowed to come in perhaps this direction. And then over here, you just exit like this. This isn't really going to help that much. It'll be weird. I'm not going to lie about that. But it's not going to be all that helpful. And the reason for that is because we're still going to have this traffic cross here. So, to that end, I would love to make it... Honestly, we might be better off if we were to just dead end this. Get rid of this section. This might actually flow better. And then we upgrade this here. We're going to have to move this firehouse, but that's okay. We could move that to be over here. Okay. And then that would end up being something kind of like... Oh, we'd need to move this crematorium too. That would end up then being something kind of like this. Hypothetically. Oh, and we missed a little bit of zoning out over this way. I don't want to zone down here, but there we go. Okay. Then, as far as this goes, we'll delete that. This goes here. This goes here. This goes here. This would only go here. I don't want to cross this lane of traffic if at all possible. Like that. So now going this direction, it should never pathfind to exit here and go this way. It should only pathfind to go this direction, in theory. In theory. So we'll see how that goes. There's going to be a pretty big backup here as we work through this backlog. But that also may cause more to pathfind to here, which would be nice. We would be in favor of this. This is definitely flowing better. And this is only because we don't really have control over what happens on this street here, right? That's the primary reason behind that. So the question is, are we now making progress? That's a good question. I don't know if we're making progress or not. We'll check in on that in a little bit. So we'll come down over here. How many more visitors do we need to level up our park to level 4? About 254. Okay. So that's fine. We do have a little bit of desire for commercial. So we'll zone a little bit of commercial over here. Although I really don't think that we need that much. So we'll see how that goes. This over here is nice and clean now. This is still bogged down. Out of curiosity, what happens if we tell them that they can go into any of these 3 lanes? Not a whole lot. Okay. Just checking. And then over here, yeah, this would just connect up like so. There we go. Cool. And then this would be the dedicated turn lane. And these 2 would go straight through, like that. So traffic is definitely moving better over here. There's no doubt about it. So the question then becomes, do we have enough throughput on the ports now for this to clean up? Demand for this port is still bogging down this one. This one isn't really drawing any, isn't really drawing anybody in. And I think part of that is because of the location of this tunnel. Let's go ahead and take that out of there for now. And let's move it to be instead, if we can go underground, move that to be instead up over here. Like that. Maybe that will be a little bit more attractive to people coming in from up here. That's the idea. Even then, maybe we'd be better off having it be actually terminating up this way. Yeah, I think we're going to give that a go. Let's get rid of this and bring this on up. So instead, it would come up over this direction and merge in up here. Maybe not exactly there. I guess here is fine. Okay. So something along the lines of that. And we'd be hoping that that draws in demand from up here instead of having them come down here. We would hope that they come here. We see that there are parked cars there that are working at the port, but currently no one has path found their way to it yet. I'm hoping that that ends up changing soon. None yet. Okay. What is this issue? Not enough buyers? Yeah, that's probably because of all of this nonsense. That's my guess there. So yeah, you can see here, we no longer have a traffic jam here. Now it's just a throughput issue of how quickly we can get cars in and out of this location. Which means, of course, that we need them to be prioritizing going to other locations, which we do have available. They're just choosing not to. There's a couple going here, which is fine. But this is not by any means overloaded. This is almost getting started on its movements. I'm currently wondering what happens if we just eliminated that section of road for now. So that there's no way that this can be backed up by this jam. At least once these guys recalculate a bit. We'll need some movement for that to happen. Okay, there we go. Cool. And they're backed up here. Right, because they're presumably trying to go up here. One thing that we should allow, or in fact require, is going into that lane. There we go. That gives us a little bit more to work with anyway. Cool. And now the question is, what else can we do? Well, we could toss in more cargo harbors, but they're not really getting all that utilized, as is. I was hoping these guys would start pathfinding up here. Unfortunately, they haven't, and I think part of that is because of this big hook that we have here. Now, a lot of that is because of that situation, but we may be able to shorten this. What if we were to simply straight line tool it? That's going to be a lot shorter, even though the turns are a lot sharper. Would we be able to connect this in over here? That's all slope too steep the entire way. Okay. What if we brought it from up here? Hypothetically. Yeah, that's all slope too steep. Okay. Good to know. We cannot build up over here because this island blocks it. We could get rid of this island. That is an option. But I feel like at this point, this cargo harbor is operating at basically peak efficiency, and we just need to pull load off of it. The question is, how are we going to go about doing that? Because, yeah, this appears to be about as good as that's going to get. Now, one thing we could try doing is simply clearing the traffic and see what happens when it starts from scratch. It may build back up like this, or it may not. That is an option. And we're having our fire truck stuck here, which is not great. Not great at all. Indeed. So one thing I think that we should consider doing, for sure, is upgrading this section of road here. Like that. That'll allow a little bit more movement. At least through here, for now. Okay. But yeah, our primary issue is just throughput here. So we need more people down over here, and that's causing issues by people attempting to go this direction. I'm wondering what happens, hypothetically, if we were to do that. If you're leaving here, you have to go this way. So that moves them up here, and then they try to go onto Cedric Miller Avenue. Yeah, that would make sense. That would indeed make sense. So I do think that we should have, like, this road here potentially be upgraded as well. I'm hoping... Hello. What is going on here? It's going the far way? It's going up this way. Okay. We are starting to see some pathfinding down to here. It's not pulling very much off, but we're seeing a little bit. Cool. Okay. We're going to rezone that. And the idea behind this is to encourage use of this cargo harbor. That's the idea there. And at this point, this was obviously a failed experiment. I'm going to move that back. Okay. I do think that this traffic is getting worse, not better. Is my current theory. And it's because too many are trying to go to this cargo harbor. The same thing is happening over here. Where this is backed up because this is backed up. Right. So hypothetically, what happens if we do go into Traffic Manager, and if the problem is what I think it is, then this shouldn't actually do anything. Or no, you don't have to go into it here. I believe you go into here, and you reset the traffic this way. So if we do that, I expect that this backup will reoccur. But we do that, and let's see what ends up happening. We did make a lot of changes, and it may or may not reoccur. If it does reoccur, then we can work on fixing it. If it does not, then we'll say that that was just a ramification of the pre-existing jam, right? But let's see. I expect it to reoccur. Now, having additional throughput here is nice, and that does mean that these harbors will be able to be fully online because they're not backed up by this jam. So that may actually solve it. We'll see. I'm currently leaning towards thinking still that that won't solve it. That said, this is going okay for right now. So it might have just been the pre-existing jam, and if that's the case, then it would have cleared itself up eventually, given enough time, in theory. So we apparently require additional commercial. That's fine. We can come down over here and zone a little bit more commercial. Now, we're still lacking customers over here, so I'm not super shocked about that. Garbage over here, huh? That's a road maintenance depot there, but we've got this waste transfer facility here and here. We're noticing a lot of fullness. Okay. So, at this point, it's not a processing difficulty, I'm willing to bet. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's not a processing difficulty, it's a pickup difficulty from the waste processing complexes. I wouldn't mind having one down over here, actually. That wouldn't be a terrible concept. So if we were to have like a tunnel that comes up over this way and goes underground in kind of an awkward fashion, and then comes out over this direction. Hello. Fantastic. And then we managed to make our way up here. Something kind of like... Oh, hello. Something kind of like this. And then we bring that up like that. Cool. That gets us some space out on this island. And the first thing that we're going to build here is going to be a waste processing complex. Now, again, this is not for purposes of increasing the amount of waste that we can process, but to increase our number of waste transfer trucks and proximity to this area. That's the plan there. So we're going to need some water over here. That's fine. This produces power, but we're still going to connect it in. There we go. That water should get taken care of. Cool. And it immediately sends out waste transfer trucks to go pick up in this area. Sounds good. We're also noticing some dead people over here, so clearly we need more pickup for crematoriums. We'll put that in. Any more of those going on up here? Yes, up over on this side. Got it. So I'm going to toss in another crematorium here. Cool. So off we go. So many cargo ships. Or just ships in general. What's going on here? Oh, right. All of our ferries were issued at once because we cleared the traffic. That would do it. These should space out over time, in theory. So let's check in over here and see if this is building back up. It is a little bit right now. Okay. A little bit. Good to know. No, I didn't want to do that. I did want to check in on what exactly we had going on here. Yeah. This is all correct for now. Okay. So this is beginning to build back up again, as I expected it would do. That's fine. We could think about putting in another one down over here. I'm not sure how helpful that will be in the pathfinding, though. What we really could use is one up here. But there's nowhere to put that where it can connect to the route, which is unfortunate. Something up here would be really, really amazing, but that can't connect to route. Although it seems like it should be able to here. But no, that can't connect to route. So that's not really very viable. There's also this one up here, which is still seeing some use. But they're mostly using this one. And that's probably because that's one of the more centrally located hubs. I wish we could set priority for it. Or can we change the funding for our cargo harbors? That might help too. Let's see here. Ship and ferry. Harbor and ferry depot can support more ships and ferries with a higher budget. Does that count for cargo harbors? Let's try cranking that up. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to put in a little bit more residential down over here. There we go. And we still have demand for commercial. So I'm just going to zone up this area. Cool. We still have a lack of customers, so I'm not too keen on that. But there we go. I don't think that's going to really change our car throughput here. That's the thing. And yeah, you can see this is definitely building back up into exactly the same jam that we had previously, because the fundamental problem here is unsolved. Now, one thing we can do is relieve some strain on this intersection by making this be one way, merging in over here. Like that. What's that actually going to do to people trying to pathfind into here for this turnaround, though? I guess they still turn around there. Interesting. But that does provide an additional outlet over here. So it removes some strain from this intersection. But now they're trying to cross the traffic and go this way, which is not what I want. So we're going to need to remove that. That's not going to work. Okay. The core problem here remains, and that is that we can't control this street. That said, our connection down over here is probably fine to restore. Because I don't expect this to be backing up. It's this that's backing up, right? So that should be fine-ish. I was hoping that this street here would encourage more usage of this. That doesn't appear to be the case. But that was my hope. With that being the problem, the question then, of course, becomes, how can we relieve this strain? Well, there are some options. We can move this firehouse over to the other side of the street. And then we can put in another harbor down here. Maybe. Let's think here. If we ended up doing that, yes, we could do that for people traveling this direction. And what we would end up doing there, in theory, would be we would put in a cargo harbor. That's space already occupied. Indeed. So we get rid of that. In fact, we may have to get rid of this chunk of road for the time being. And then we put in our cargo harbor right over here. Like that. Get rid of this chunk of road. And then we bring this in. Well, that road is right there. bring it in kind of like this. Like that. Then the question is, if we have this connect in here, how is that helpful? Because they'll just go right by this cargo harbor. If we connect it in here, they'll just go right by this cargo harbor. So we're going to need to connect it in instead over here somehow. Somehow. Like that? I don't know. That feels awkward, but we'll see if that relieves any strain, I suppose. But that certainly feels very awkward. We'll put in some office over here. Okay. That feels incredibly awkward, and I'm not sure that that actually did anything. We'll see. They're still trying to pathfind to here. And that's probably because of how long this is in comparison. I would have preferred to just merge it in right here. But that's a truck going in. Fantastic. So that's one truck that this didn't have to process. There's a second. Cool. So it's going to be fairly low traffic. But it is going to pull a little bit of the strain off of this hub. Particularly with some of this outgoing traffic, which is important. Okay. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode we'll continue trying to tackle this. It's a bit of a wacky one. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, Sigma162, JJ Gamer, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.